Hi everyone, Lee from Evolving Mindset. So today's session, as I said earlier in the introduction video, is going to be around anxiety. So we're going to give you some tips around controlling your thoughts. When controlling those thoughts, we present with certain behaviours. So it's about recognising those behaviours and changing our behaviour so that we can become more in touch and more in control of our thoughts. Now we all know those symptoms, both psychologically and physically, around what anxiety can do to us. You know, the sweats, the fear, you know, that fear of dread, you know, like we're going to die, those physical symptoms around feeling tight-chested, sweating, shaking, you know, there's a vast majority of different things, and it affects us all in so many different ways. And you know, we've all been there and we've all felt really stressed and anxious, and in particular, you know, a lot of people are feeling stressed and a lot of people are feeling anxious around this current situation that we're all in. You know, at first, you know, we found out about COVID-19, and now, you know, we're kind of in a situation where we're in lockdown, and that social isolation for a lot of people is tough. You know, so hopefully we can over the weeks and the different sessions that we deliver and the different videos that we put out, we can help you to try and manage that and cope with it a lot better. For me, it's some of the tips around managing anxiety, especially with Corona. You know, focus on you, focus on what's important to you and your family whilst you're in quarantine and whilst you're in isolation. We've got some examples up on the screen. You know, stuff like avoiding excessive exposure to media coverage, especially that negative stuff. Making time for daily stress relief for you. You know, connecting, keep in touch with family and friends through the internet. You know, FaceTime. We're quite lucky in this day and age. We've got that technology to our disposal. And focusing on your mental health. So again, that works hand in hand with having that stress relief. You know, looking at mindfulness. You know, watching things that are out there on the internet that can support you. You know, your family. You know, making sure that, especially your kids, you reassure them, you give them that opportunity to speak, to tell you how they feel. You know, share your strategies with them, spend time together. You know, when you're in that quarantine, dust off those old board games. You know, get them out, get round as a family. Stuff like art, exercise together. You know, again, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube and on the internet now where you can do things as a family. You know, watching movies and you know, again, it's sharing that experience with each other in a positive way. Now, this is something what we call, it's like a circle of influence, circle of control, and where our behaviour comes from is around the outside, and that's predominantly what affects the way we control our thoughts. I'm going to give you a couple of examples around negative behaviour and negative thoughts that influence all this around. So, you know, other people's motives, the actions of others, what's going on in the world that we can't control. So what that is, it's called overthinking, over control, and this is around obsessive thinking, you know, trying to control the uncontrollable. And this is where we try and solve those problems in our heads, and what happens is we become plagued with thoughts of images and negativity, and that is a massive burden on our psychological well-being. And another kind of example around not controlling our thoughts and in a negative way is passive coping, and this is what we call burying your head. And again, this is about not taking any action, not taking any responsibility to change or control your thoughts. And this is one of the key things to recognise, because when we pass the control of our own thoughts to other people, like social media, like the news, in a negative way, this is where we begin to feel panic, we begin to feel fear, we begin to feel helplessness. And this particular thought process, this elevates anxiety, and usually this is what associates with depression. And the way we tend to behave is that we complain a lot to others. We put things on social media, you know, and this is a way of us either coping or getting sympathy. And this is huge. And what I want to do is focus your thoughts to control them, to focus more on what's in the middle, what you can control about your attitude and things you can do at home. And effective ways to cope is acceptance, and this means letting go. You know, accepting that we can't control what's going on outside, what we can influence. You know, we can't control the current situation, we can't change it. What we can do is we can accept that the things we do, the things we can like, is following government guidance, focusing on the things that we can control, and focusing on the things we can influence. You know, again, this is massive in focusing and channeling your energy in the right way and in the right kinds of areas. You know, there's another technique that we look at and we use as active coping. So we've accepted that there's nothing we can do to change the current situation. But this doesn't mean that we can't deal with it in a positive way. So following guidelines, creating ways of taking direct action. So these are your strategies to deal with stresses. So add routine into your day. Get up, get dressed, you know, exercise, eat the right foods, relax, take some downtime, you know, focus on what's important to you. Especially in social settings, a great way to cope can involve communicating, reaching out, talking about how you're feeling. So as I've said, coping with the current situation requires us to accept that we've got no or little influence, and we have a choice in how we can deal with it, you know, in a positive way. And it's about becoming more emotionally focused rather than problem focused, and this will be more helpful to you to manage your anxiety. Guys, if you want to get in touch with us, please do. It is good to talk, and they're just some little tips, some little kinds of strategies to try and help you. But if there's anything else you want to get in touch with us about, feel free, get in touch with us. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're available on all those platforms, and we'll do everything we can to try and support you and to try and post you in the best possible way. Thanks for watching, and stay safe and stay well.